All right, do it right, Milwaukee. Hello, boys and girls. You know me, I'm Tom, back at this deck. Okay, let me tell you what I've been doing. And before I jump into this, I just want to let you know when building a deck like this that's been sitting for 20 plus years, there's a lot of mathematics involved in regards to setting this deck up, okay? Getting all the pre-measurements, and then that way you know you've got the right plumb, square, all the different things that you need to consider when building something like this. All right, let's jump right into it. Are you ready? Okay, first thing is you got to create a square. It's like laying a foundation. You got to create the border. And it all has to mathematically be dead on the money. And you got to consider over time, 20 years of this deck sitting here, things have moved, things have twisted, things have settled, and all the other little variables that come into play. Now remember, let's just jump right into it. Remember this post. This is the one that was twisted. Okay, I've been able to actually straighten it out a little bit. Now there's been a bunch of comments, oh, why didn't you just go ahead and replace these? These are connected through into the ground, okay? This is not a complete demo job. There's nothing wrong with these 6x6s. This is the only one that was twisted. So what I did was, I put bolts in here, okay? I squeezed it together. There was a huge gap in there. And look, the gap's almost gone. I took the twist out of the base, out of this part here, okay? Now, as you go up, it's still a little bit twisted, but nowhere near as bad as it was, okay? See? I know it's hard to tell right from this angle, this point, but I'm telling you, I took a lot of that out of there and bent it back this way, okay? There's still a little bit now, but it's so much less. You can see it, okay? But this is not gonna matter because the bottom line is that's what matters. So this board here is 20 feet, tucked underneath. I started it in this corner. It does have a metal drip edge. And the big thing here is we didn't want to cut these 20 footers. Okay, these are just expensive pieces of wood. And yeah, we could have staggered them like a floor on the inside of a house. Could have done a lot of things, but that's not what we wanted to get done. That's not what I wanted. I wanted this transition right here. Now, a lot of people ask me about toe-in. Here's the deal about toe-in, okay? I've got two 12-footers, one on this side and one right there, okay? Now, that is my block bracing for this transition board that goes across here, okay? These 20-footers are bumping up against it. This is a toe-in. That is a toe-in. When you toe in, you have 4 screws that are in this area, where if you were on a regular surface like this, you just drill 2 screws. 4 versus 2, okay? That's toe in. So you put this screw at an angle, but not a real heavy angle. It's more like this, okay? You want to still bite into the board. Now what I've done here is I've set this whole thing up. Let me get on this side here. I've already pulled this. I've measured across here. This is 5.5 inches. This face, this board on the outside edge, these little cuts in here are all exactly 5.5 inches. And that was the purpose of running this board as straight as I possibly could. And then I took another center board, and this is how I created this boxed in framing right up to here, okay? Then I make this run and I'm good. Now, I marked the board every 5.5 inches, okay? You can see it, every 5.5 inches. You get the idea. So when I get down towards the end, all I've got is a 3-inch difference, and I'll just rip a board and put in a small 3-inch here, but all these are going to be 20-footers, and they're all going to fit within this framework system, you see? And it's already been measured from there to there to there to there. Then you get that measurement from that corner to this corner. Excuse me, it's freaking me out in the camera here with my fingers. Probably freaking you guys out too, but from there to there, and then up there to over there. This all has to be square and plumb. This is how you take what they've done, as you can see the difference here. See? All I did was pull 3 boards. But this board has to be here because of the measurements. See? There it is. Okay. So this is pretty much the logistics of this. Then here's the important part. Once you establish this frame, you already can see how easy it is. Once you pop that section of boards out, you pop that section of boards out, bam. You just put all your 20-footers in here and drop them in. You see, you just drop them in. And then when you come back over here, same thing, okay? Same thing. Now, all I have to do here is just pull all this stuff and then, boom, pop those in. And the cut's at the end down there, which is easy. Just measure it, and every one you measure, just take, the saw, cut it, put it in, and then you lay the whole thing first before you screw it, okay? You want to make sure that everything is aligned. Now, the problem I had before is where these guys notched. They notched the board up a little bit, and then they had all these were staggered. They were wrong. They were just wrong. They had the next board running right there. You could see it. See this difference? So that's why the boards, they didn't match, because they didn't compensate for this flush cut over here, because they made a bump out for this threshold plate, okay? Why they did that, I have no idea. It makes no sense, because they weren't thinking. They just were not thinking. So this is the moral of the story here. Now, I'm gonna say something about YouTube. YouTube, God bless them, bless their hearts. Every time I put my face in this camera, every time, it does not matter. I don't care what situation it is. I can post this picture up, and if I put my face up, when they select the pick, I get 3 choices. It always has something stupid that doesn't even pertain to the topic, like this 20-year-old deck. I had a beautiful picture of this deck when I was getting ready to upload it, and they wouldn't let me use it. They said the image is too big, so if long as I don't put my face in it, you're going to get a variation of something that I've shown in this video of this deck. Okay, because now the algorithm won't allow, because I won't allow my face to get into this particular one, only because I already know what's going to happen. The second I turn this camera around, that's the picture, that's the pick that they're going to choose. That's it. And I could be standing alongside of a house or a trash can, and that's the one they're going to use, even though I say, look at this deck, 20-year-old deck that I'm rebuilding. They will not show a picture of it. It's stupid. I mean, just stupid. If they get me on this one, I don't care, because I'm getting a little upset with the whole thing with YouTube. That's all I can tell you about that. But anyway, enough ranting. But now you see the magic and the mystery of this whole thing. The way I build. This is the way I think. Most guys would just tear the whole damn thing off and then just start laying boards. okay? And stagger cutting them, doing whatever that whatever they do, you know, whoever built this, they did what they did, and it looked like hell. It wasn't professional, even though it did last 20 years. I'll give them credit for that. It lasted 20 years, but that's it. But it didn't have no look to it. You know, I'm sure when it was brand new, it was like everybody was like, oh, nice, pretty, you know, oh, that was good work and everything, until you actually see what you had to deal with. And then, of course, you make your mind up a little bit differently and you say, well, you know, maybe it wasn't all that great. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you this. Share, like, subscribe, comment. Thank you. And again, YouTube is just really something else sometimes, man. But I'll talk to you guys later. Tom out of here. What do you think?